Hey YouTube, I'm just working through some guitars. This has been on my staircase for, I've probably had it a couple of years now. Been a while since I played it. Forgot it was really good. So this is an Aria pe600 prototype series. You can see it's not just an Aria Pro 2, it's, let me get it so you can, bloody light's too bright. It's the Aria Pro 2. See, it's got, I believe that's called a batwing headstock. And the writing on this bit, sometimes there's writing on an Aria. This one's got the original text, which is designed and approved by H. Noble, original custom body number, blah blah blah, product of Matsumoku. Yeah, so 1980, this is serial number, starts 08. So this is a historically significant guitar. Well, that's what I tell myself anyway. So in 1978 or whatever it was, Aria decided that all the Japanese companies were starting to make guitars that were, instead of just copying Gibsons and Fenders, they were making ones that were their own designs and better. So this is their first attempt. It's called a prototype series. If you look it up, which actually sounds an awful lot more rare than it is. It's not, it's not a true prototype, as in there wasn't 10 of them or something. But it's called the prototype series, and the idea was that they were going to. This was the design for all the guitars Aria made in the future. And to be totally fair, they still make it pretty much the same. I think they've lost the. This is a Noble bridge. It says Noble on the back of it. It's a sort of. I don't really know what you'd call that. Different kind of bridge. These aren't the original knobs. The original ones kind of look like ones off a cooker, but I never had them. Actually, I had. It's amazing the difference knobs make. I had these ones on it, which were sort of brassy looking Telecaster type knobs, and I thought they looked alright, but as soon as I put these sort of cream Les Paul ones on, it just went ping and looked so much better. Yeah, so this has a sycamore body. The back plate's made out of a piece of wood. It's not original. See, look at the neck join. You can see it there. It's so the neck kind of runs. There's a long tenon thing in here somewhere, and it is oh, it's not bolt on. There are bolt on versions of this. I'm sure I've seen ones that have got a couple of bolts on here, but this one's just a set neck. But obviously that gives you supreme high fret access, as good as you can get pretty much on a, well, amazing. Big volute on the back of the neck there, so it doesn't break. And it's a 3-piece neck. Actually, when I played this, first thing I noticed was it's the same, or a very, very similar neck to what's on my Urchin from 1982. The same carve, similar, even looks the same, it's made of the same kind of wood. It's like the old 3-piece idea. I like, it's like, so you get, like, instead of having one piece, you get 3, and then you put the one in the middle, you flip it over so the grains run in the opposite way, so that sort of the grains are all going against each other, reinforcing each other. This one, top-notch stuff, really. The tuners on it are fantastic, looking really, really chunky. Aria Pro branded ones. They'll be original. The pickups are, I'm not sure what they are. They've got T's on the top, like the Gibson T-top ones, but they're, I don't know, they've obviously just copied the T's as well when they were copying the pickups. So these came out. This is a pe600. The pe1500 is the sort of main one, I think. It's your sort of deluxe version. It might be through neck. I'm not sure. In fact, I think it is through neck, and it's got like a maple top, and it's got binding, and it's got fancy inlays. Whereas this would be the stripped down one. So the 1500 and the 1000. The 1500 comes with DiMarzio pickups, I think, and the 1000 is just sort of the same but without DiMarzio pickups. Then the 800 is down to this, apart from it's got binding on it, and then there's the 600. I think that's the full set, which kind of suits me. I like the idea of they've not skimped on the quality of the bits they had. There's just less on it. It doesn't have a binding, so therefore it's cheaper, but it's still got the quality, the build. And the build is just, it's like it's an 80s Japanese guitar. Just fantastic. This might also, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is antique violin. Obviously it's very, very, very dented. You wouldn't believe how much polish I spent to try and get it to be shiny, and it's still not super shiny. But so it's got a carved top. It's got recessed things for the controls. They're dented in. Actually, the guy H Noble, whose name is on the headstock of this, is still making guitars, and under the Atlantia, what they're called, and he makes mad things. He's a sort of mad inventor type thing. I think he's more into like designing the machines that make guitars rather than the actual guitars, but he makes a lot of these things. And he told me actually himself on an email that the reason these are recessed, you know, not I was thinking, it's so they sit flat, you know, they don't sit at an angle. That's not why. It's so there's still a reasonable thickness of wood between them, because if you notice on old guitars, a lot of the time the volume controls get punched in, you know, and it cracks the top. Well, that's why they do that. So it's a thicker piece of wood. So these, if you do drop it on the volume control, it doesn't punch a hole through the front of the guitar, which is pretty cool. Just one volume, one tone, 3-way switch. I think there's probably coil taps on the higher up in the range ones. But as I was saying, yeah, so this I reckon is antique violin burst, which is, I think, the first ever relic guitar, as in it's designed to look like an old Stradivarius violin. So it's designed to look old when it was new. Obviously now it is old, so it does look old, but so I think this is the first ever relic, yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Retro thing. Actually, I remember I've got the advert somewhere for this magazine advert, and it was comparing it to the Stradivarius. It's the Stradivarius of guitars. It's meant to be the best you could possibly get. Yeah. So my only real gripe about this one, as apart from it doesn't have the original knobs, is they're a bit stiff. It's the same on the other one. It might be because they're 30 years old though, but the volume control is just that little bit. It doesn't really go very smooth. It could be because it's 30 years old. It's exactly the same on my aria arching. So we've got neck pickup. Also, from going through things, it's got a bullet truss rod, which is by far the best kind of truss rod, because you can actually see where the Allen key goes, so nobody puts the wrong size Allen key in and chews up the head. So you can actually, it does look a bit minging, but yeah, it sticks out a bit. But it's definitely the best system. Yeah. So this is before I realised what I want to do is clean the frets with Brasso. So I bought this 2 years ago. So what I'm noticing there is when I'm playing really high up here, because I've never really played up there before, the frets are a bit manky, so they're fretting out a little bit. But I think they'll be fine if they give it a bit of a clean. I mean, this thing is set up to be, it's got absolutely no action at all. It's pure turbo metal. And I should say the pickups aren't that dissimilar to the Gibson T-tops, which they're copies of, because my Urchin actually has a real Gibson T-top in it, and it's definitely similar ballpark, you know, sort of bright, very clear. Distortion works not the best. There's a guitar called, my pal David has a guitar called a Westbury Standard. I don't know if the Standard's a model, but there's a Westbury which actually doesn't look that dissimilar to this, apart from I think it's a little bit less Les Paul looking, which is the same, very similar idea, made by Matsumoto as well. It's a 25.5-inch scale, so it's like a Strat scale. When I first got it, I just assumed it was like a Les Paul, but it's not really. It's sort of thin. It's got some nice carving. It's very comfortable. It really is somebody's attempt. So the Aria's attempt at making the best guitar in the world. I'm quite tempted to, as I said, that volume control's a bit stiff. I'm a bit tempted to put a push-pull pot in there, and then put, you know, I'll break into the pickups and put coil splits in, just because I think the more expensive one in the range has it. Not that I think it necessarily needs it. It's one of those guitars that's only got 3 sounds, and all 3 are good though. So it's like. I wonder if the Strat scale's contributing to its sort of brightness and clarity. This is a testament to Elixir strings again. This would be before I found you got ones called OptiWeb, nope, NanoWeb, nope, Polyweb, right. So these are NanoWeb, they're the sort of ones that are the cheapest of the 3 types, and they're pretty good. But the problem with these ones is when you use them a lot, these haven't been used a lot. I mean, I would definitely recommend Elixirs for if you're going to have a guitar you're going to hang on the wall and then play it 2 years later. It'll just be as good as when you left it. But the NanoWeb ones have got quite a thin coating on them, so if you play them a lot, they do start to fray, you know, if you absolutely batter the guitar forever. Whereas the Polyweb ones, which are a couple of pounds more expensive, have got a much thicker coating, and they don't seem to do that. They just seem to last forever. And the new ones, the OptiWeb, is kind of halfway between them, is the way I look at it. But apart from cleaning the frets on this, I really don't want to do anything else to it. I still might make a back cover out of a bit of wood that's a bit better colour. That's not wood, I think it's like a plastic floor tile or something like that, you know, like a wood look thing. It's something there to stop your fingers getting into the hole, so I suppose it doesn't really make any difference to the sound. Yeah, so that'll do for this. 15 minutes again, I keep talking so much shit on these things, sorry. Yeah, so this is just running through it, there you go. You can pick these up on eBay, there's one on just now, a pe600. You can tell the rarer ones are the ones with the batwing thing on the top, and they say the Aria Pro. And then you get later, there's an R, they've got a truss rod cover, which means they don't have a bullet truss rod. With the model number on it, there's a 450 and at least, and a few other ones like that. And then gradually over the years they got more or less poly, they got a protomatic bridge, and then you get the 4 controls, and then, but still, this being the prototype. It is pretty cool. It is pretty damn bashed as well. And the fact that it still plays and works so well really goes to show that unless somebody actually intentionally went at this with a hammer, you know, it's it's a very durable guitar. Rock on!